is how I play the game! Oh my god! What the fuck?
Oh my god. Sound good?
R2DF did 100-bit cheer. He says, well, I've been finishing Shadow of War to prove that it's actually Game of the Year, like you said multiple times, and that you don't need to buy loot boxes. First of all, I never said it was Game of the Year. I said it was a Game of the Year contender. There is a very big difference there. But I never said it was Game of the Year, so don't put words in my mouth. Number two, I did say you don't need to buy loot boxes. That's a true statement. You don't need to buy loot boxes. Instead, you can grind for endless hours in the final boring, tacked-on garbage act that doesn't really need to even be in the game, because the game ends after Act 3. The game even gives you the golden trophy for completing the game after you complete Act 3. If that's not the proof that you've beaten the game, I don't know what is. Act 4, it's pretty obvious, was blatantly tacked onto the game to sell loot boxes. I think everyone's in agreement on that. What my point has been the whole time, which again somehow is not sinking into some people's heads apparently, since you just cheered about it, is that the game is still a good game. Even though the game has a completely fabricated fourth act that was not supposed to be in the game, and was tacked it on by WB Games, obviously, to make money, it doesn't mean the game's bad. It doesn't. It just means the game is, sadly, corrupted by this fucking stupid game production studio in order to make more money. Does that mean you should boycott the game like a small child who sees everything black and white? No. It means you could still buy the game and play all the fun stuff that was intended to be in the game and ignore the completely bullshit ending, fourth act. There's no reason to even pay attention to it. It's completely stupid. It's, a waste of time to play the fourth act or to support the loot boxes. That doesn't mean you ignore the rest of the game. That's like saying, alright, so I'm going to a restaurant, alright, and by all reports, this restaurant has gourmet food and everything. You go there, you eat an amazingly delicious appetizer, okay? You have course after course of delicious gourmet level food. You're shoving it in your mouth. It's so good. You can't even stop eating because it's so amazing. Your mouth is just dripping with saliva. You've eaten at this restaurant before, but now you come back. It's better than it was last time. You cannot believe it. You can't believe how good it is, all right? But then, at the very end of your meal, they come out with dessert, and the dessert is shitty. Does that mean the entire meal up to that point was bad? No. If you're a mature human, you realize that it just means the end was bad, and you could just say, okay, if I'm going to be fair about this, I can say as a mature adult, enjoy the first, 90% of what you did, and the last 10% ignore. But that's the problem. People aren't mature. I don't know what else to say. They want us to say, boycott the game sucks. Wrong. The game's good. The last act is garbage, but the game is good. To actually not play this game because you believed in a boycotting movement led by a bunch of YouTubers who were trying to make money and cause drama so people would watch their videos, just makes you stupid. It just makes you ignorant. Well, R2DF did another 100-bit cheer and said exactly the same thing. So I just addressed it yet again. I've not changed. The thing is, people, Phil changed his tune. No, I didn't. I never said anything different. I literally never changed my tune. I said the same thing the whole time, but just because I said the loot boxes are bad at the end, even though I said it at the beginning too, but people didn't want to listen, because here's the problem, people just believe the negative bullshit. Instead of actually listening to what I was saying all along, people went and listened to the detractor spin videos. So you believed what the idiot said instead of what the actual person saying the thing said, and you got fooled. Sadly, that is, your fault, not mine.
You gotta listen to me. You gotta listen to me. You gotta listen to me and not listen to the people who spin what I say into their own agendas.
Because that's when you get misinformed. And that's what happened here. A bunch of people got misinformed. The problem with Shadow of War. You paid $60, you got 20 hours of really great gameplay, a great story, tons of fun stuff. Oh, there's a fourth act that was tacked on to make money, so now the whole game sucks. No, that's not how life works. Sorry, folks. If that's the case, and you know what? This is a great analogy. Here we go, folks. This is a great analogy. This is why people are so overdramatic in real life, and this is why people believe shit about me, negative shit about me, okay? Here's why.
So, yes, I'm a human, and I have flaws. I do. I admit it, I have flaws. Alright? I have a micro penis. I have things wrong with me, things that I do wrong. And I'm not a perfect human, and I've admitted that many times. And when I do feel that I step over the line or I do something that's wrong, I will admit it. Sometimes I'm stubborn about it, but I will eventually admit it. There's a lot of things I did early on in my YouTube career that I think were really stupid and immature. And I know that now, but I didn't know that back then. I didn't realize it at the time.
Now, does that mean that because I have flaws, that I'm a terrible overall person, and that no one should ever watch my content, and that I've never done anything good, and that I'm overall a horrible... Does that mean every person that has something wrong with them is bad, and you should just ignore them, or... You know what I mean? No! Think about yourself. Think about your friends. Think about your family. Everyone has flaws. And you gotta realize that that doesn't innately make it bad, negative, overall. That's stupid. That is, again, that black and white mentality is stupidity of a child.
I'm not a whiny baby.
Okay, then. So there you go. Why do you think when people... Oh, here's a negative thing about Phil. Oh, well, that's it. That means I'm never watching him. He's a piece of shit. Let's fucking stalk him and, you know, troll him for the rest of his life. Like, what? Every human is like that. Just because I'm actually man enough to show my flaws a lot more than most people on the fucking internet...
Doesn't mean I'm a bad person. It just means that you're immature. To not realize that. Excuse me. I knew that was coming. The frog in my throat did a 10-bit cheer says, do you know about the findom fad going around Twitch? No. What is a findom fad? I've never heard of it. I'm glad I haven't. And maybe I should just not even care. You know what? I'm going to pretend like I didn't get this question. I don't want to know. I seriously don't want to get wrapped up in this shit.
Shout out to Nick, who did a $1 tip. He gave me a $1 tip. He says, if there's a practice that I disagree with, I have every right to not buy the game. It doesn't make me immature. It's my honest purchasing decision. No. Okay. You're absolutely right, Nick, and let's make this separation or determination, because you're right, and I'm thank you for your tip, because actually it brings up an important point. Here's a difference, okay? There's a difference between saying, you know what, personally, I really either don't like this game, or I don't like the practice of loot boxes. So for whatever reason, I've looked inside, you know, my own judgment and determined that I don't think that this game is a game that I'm going to buy. I'm going to skip it. You know, there's tons of other great games coming out this hardcore gaming season anyway. It's not a big deal if I miss out on this game. That is a actual logical way to approach it, alright? The problem is that's not what's happened. Here's what's literally happened. Here's the other situation. Well, I heard on a video from this big YouTuber that there's loot boxes, and loot boxes are bad, and therefore we gotta have a big boycotting movement against this game and talk shit about the game and go on streams where people are playing this game and say this game sucks and say this game's a piece of shit because the YouTuber told me to. And that's what's happened. And that's the sad part about it, is that there's a difference between making your determination intelligent determination for yourself versus a mob mentality of boycott. Because here's the thing. The first person didn't call for a boycott. The first person just made a personal decision for themselves that this wasn't a game they were interested in. Versus the other person started a mob mentality on the internet to boycott because they weren't smart enough to realize that YouTubers were trying to make money off of this. That's the difference. That's the determination. So thank you, Nick, for that tip, because guess what? That was a very good question and a very good thing to make a determination about. Thank you for that.
Excuse me.
I can't stop burping from I'm drinking a mango lime kickstart today. Since I finished my first stream, I uploaded those videos to YouTube. That took about half an hour to get them uploaded, you know, and queue them up with all the names and tags and everything. Went downstairs, called my parents, talked to them for about a half an hour. As I was talking to them, started cooking dinner, which tonight was pasta, which means you had to boil water, boil the pasta, thaw out the sauce, then drain the pasta while the sauce is being basically heated in the microwave, then combine the two, then actually eat, and then after that, you know, clean up the kitchen, wipe everything down, wash a ton of dishes, because whenever I make pasta, I end up with a ton of dishes, plus I had dishes from a few previous days, cleaned all those up, used the bathroom, next thing you know, I'm in here. That was it. That was, like, that's all I did. I have not even said, until right now, I'm sitting down to relax. This is the first moment that I wasn't, like, moving to get something done. Pretty hectic days. This is what a lot of my days are like now. Because, you know, anytime I cook something, it's it. I know I got another stream coming in, you know, 2 hours, so I have to move. How long do I usually spend eating? It depends on what I'm eating. Like, pasta today, I don't know, 15 minutes, 20 minutes tops. I try not to eat super fast, because then you get indigestion, especially pasta. You know, you're having pasta with sauce, and I had one meatball, a single meatball with it. You know, eat that fast, you get bad indigestion. I used to get really bad indigestion when I ate the sauce. I used to get, like, heartburn and everything, but for some reason I don't get it anymore. I don't know if it's because I've adjusted the recipe enough that it doesn't bother me anymore, or you know what it could be, and this is the truth, I just realizing this right now. Probably, it was because I don't eat as much red meat anymore. You know, whenever I used to eat pasta, it would be, oh, tons of meatballs or sausage or whatever with it, and now I'm eating very little. So that might be it too. That I'm not getting the acid indigestion from it because I'm not eating, you know, tons of meat like I used to. Had to cut down on that shit. Roger Van says he's eating some sea salt and vinegar chips. Are you eating, I'm just curious, are you eating kettle-cooked sea salt and vinegar chips? The reason I ask is because I love kettle-cooked chips, and for years I did not eat them because my ex-girlfriend hated them. And I just, for the first time ever, I'm not even kidding you, since I've lived in Washington, bought a bag of kettle-cooked sea salt and vinegar chips, and I ate a few the other night, and I was like in fucking heaven. I was like, oh my god, I haven't had these in so long. I love kettle-cooked chips. They taste better, they're crunchy. The sacrifices I made. The sacrifices I made. I wish people would stop freaking out about the viewers. It's obvious it's view bots and it's not real. Like, if you actually look in the listings of Twitch for people playing games, I don't show up in those listings high up. It's some idiot using a view bot trying to get me in trouble or something, which isn't going to work because I already talked to Twitch about it during the summer. I explained to them that it was happening, and they said, don't worry about it, and, you know, nothing's going to happen to you because you're not doing it.
I prefer a penne. Oh! Easy to eat. Oh! Phil's a faggot. Phil's fat. Phil's a loser. Phil's a beggar. I have a micro penis. Alright, I'm not dead, but I swear to God I wish I fucking was.